So now let's go through a multi-step word problem using our 4 looks strategy. So in our first look, or our first notice, the library's goal is to have 2,000 books read in the elementary school summer reading club. In the first 3 weeks, the number of books read were 138 for the first week, 247 the second week, and 302 the third week. How many more books still need to be read to meet the summer reading goal? In our first notice, we're still noticing who is our story about, the library. What is this library doing? Well, this library has a goal to have 2,000 books read for the summer. They had 138 books, 247 books, and 302 books read for the first 3 weeks. And what is the question? How many more books still need to be read to meet the summer reading goal? We're going to highlight our question. So now let's move on to our second look, or our second read through. The library's goal is to have 2,000 books read in the elementary school summer reading club. In the first 3 weeks, the number of books read were 138 for the first week, 247 the second week, and 302 the third week. How many more books still need to be read to meet the summer reading goal? And in our second look is where we would draw our models to represent our story so we know how to solve the problem. So let's think about this. In our problem, the library has a goal to get to 2,000 books, right? But have they reached that goal? No, because the question wants to know how many more books do they still need to be read to meet their summer reading goal? Have they read some books? Well, yes, they have read some books for the first week and the second week and the third week. So that is where we need to start with our model. And that's figuring out what is the combined number of books they have read so far. We're going to draw a part-part whole model. And then we know that part-part whole means that we're going to add or combine numbers. So we know that there was 138 books read on the first week, 247 books read on the second week, and 302 books read on the third week. And we would combine those to get a total of how many books that we have read so far. But that won't reach 2,000 yet. So then to find out how many more we need to draw a whole part-part model with the total of 2,000. That's what we're trying to reach. And the part would be the total of number of books that we have read so far. So we can find the part or the difference we need to know how many more books would need to be read to get to our goal of 2,000. So in our third look, or our third read-through, that is where we're going to use the models we created in our second look to solve our problem. So the library's goal is to have 2,000 books read in the elementary school summer reading club. In the first 3 weeks, the number of books read were 138 for the first week, 247 the second week, and 302 the third week. How many more books still need to be read to meet the summer reading goal? And we know that we drew a part-part whole model first, and part-part whole means that we need to add. So we need to add 138 plus 247 plus 302. And we know that we cannot add numbers this way, so we need to stack our numbers, making sure we line up our place value. And I always like to add only 2 numbers at a time. So I would add 8 plus 7 first, and that would be 15. And then 15 plus 2 more is 17. We can only put one number at a time in one place value. So we carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 0 is 8. Moving to our next place value, 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. So 687 is the amount of books that we have read so far. So that was our first step. But remember, we drew another model. We drew a whole, part, part. And so we have our total goal of getting to 2,000. And our total number of books read so far was 687, and that would go into this part. So then we would subtract to get the difference of how many books we still need to read to reach 2,000. So we would subtract 2,000, take away 687, making sure we stack our numbers, putting the larger number on top when we subtract. So we would start with 0, take away 7. Well, I can't take 7 from nothing, so I need to go next door to borrow. Uh-oh, they don't have anything for me to borrow. So then I have to keep going to the next place value. And that is 0. They have nothing for me to borrow. And so then I have to go to the 2. Okay, so I can borrow 1 from the 2. So that becomes a 1. I can give the 1 to this. So now I have 10. So I can borrow 1 from 10. And that becomes a 9. And we give that 1 here. So now I have a 10. I can borrow from that 10. And that becomes a 9. And then I give this 1 to this 0. And that is a 10. So now I can subtract 10, take away 7. And that is 3. Going to the next place value, 9, take away 8 is 1. 9, take away 6 is 3. 1, take away 0 is 1. So the number of books that we still need to read to reach 2,000 goal is 1,313. So in our fourth and final look and read through, the library's goal is to have 2,000 books read in the elementary school summer reading club. In the first 3 weeks, the numbers of books read were 138 for the first week, 247 the second week, and 302 the third week. How many more books still need to be read to meet the summer reading goal? And in this fourth look and fourth notice is where we summarize the steps we took to solve the problem to show how your answer is reasonable using the first 3 looks. So in our first look, we noticed who our story was about. It was about the library, and the library has a goal of reaching 2,000 books read. And we know that there have been some books that are already read in the first 3 weeks, 138, 247, and 302. And we want to know how many more books we need to read to get to that 2,000 goal. And our second look is where we drew our models, and we had to draw 2 models, one being part whole, so we had to add 138 plus 247 and 302 to get how many books have already been read. And then we had to draw a model of a whole part to show the difference between the number of books we've already read and how many more in our goal, to determine how many more books we need to read to reach our goal. And in our third look is where we solved the problem, and we added 138 plus 247 plus 302 to get 687 books already read, and we subtracted 687 from 2,000 and got 1,313 books that the library still needs to read to reach their goal.